Hey everybody, it's Mike from GetYourRockOut, and I'm sat here under a bridge in Manchester with Björn from Soilwork. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. As I understand it, you're having a bit of a situation with your drummer. What's going on there?
Well, basically, he pulled a few muscles right here, and he was in great pain and couldn't even move for 2 days. So we had to ask Peter from Dirk to try to fill in. So he's only been rehearsing for 1 day, and then we did a show last night in Bristol with him behind the drums, and it went pretty good. But I mean, before that, we were not able to rehearse as a band. So I was really impressed how he handled the whole thing, and we stuck it through. And I'm sure it's going to sound even better today. So what can we do, you know?
I was just watching you guys rehearse upstairs. He seems to be getting the hang of it pretty quickly. Is he a Soilwork fan?
He's been playing with us before, so he knows some of the songs, you know, and I guess I could consider him a fan as well. He likes our work for sure. So I guess it's easier when you know the songs, and I mean, we're lucky, you know, that he's on the tour there's only a few drummers in the world that could, you know, pull it off. So we're really grateful.
So he's with you for the rest of the tour now?
Yeah, I mean, Dirk is still here, right? And we hope he will get better, but for now, Peter is filling in, and, we rather still play than just having to cancel all the shows, and I think, you know, the fans are still going to appreciate it, you know?
Now, you guys are at Hammerfest in a couple of days. You're supporting Overkill there. You're supporting them tomorrow as well in London, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's going to be a direct support to Overkill in London tomorrow at the Islington Academy, so that's going to be cool. It's a classic band.
Would you consider them an influence?
Hard to say. I mean, I did listen to them a lot when I was growing up, and I mean, as far as, you know, Bobby is such a great performer, you know, and he's a really cool singer. So in that sense, you know, I think he's had an, you know, impact on me as a singer, you know.
Because I know that the whole Gothenburg scene is kind of influenced by the thrash metal scene. Just by way of curiosity, melodic death metal and thrash metal, like, they're so close together in terms of what the music style is. What would you say are the main differences, like, between your band and in general?
I don't really think about those things, you know, and there's a lot of people out there that needs to put labels on everything, and I understand it, but at the same time, it's nothing I really spend that much time thinking of. But it's kind of hard to say, like, what is melodic death metal, you know, and then, you know, it's kind of a crossover thrash metal. I think, I mean, us as a band, we're influenced from both the thrash scene and the death metal scene and the heavy metal scene. So it's kind of, to me, Soilwork is just metal. It's, you know, because it's so diverse too, right? So it's kind of hard for me to say exactly what the difference is, you know. It used to be like death metal, like in the beginning of the 90s. It had like a lyrical content about death, you know, and then black metal was automatically like satanic, you know, with lyrics about that, and so it's, I don't know, it's changed so much over the years, right? So now it's not really relevant anymore to me, you know.
I'm always curious, just on the subject of black metal, what the relationship is like between the Gothenburg acts and the Norwegian black metal scene. Is it a friendly relationship? Is there a rivalry there, or is it just not really anything there?
I don't think there's any rivalry at all. There might have been in the mid-90s, who knows, but not as far as I know. No.
All right, well, let's talk about your latest album, The Living Infinite, which came out last year. Are you pleased with the way it's been received so far?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely huge accomplishment for the band, making a double album that, you know, is interesting all the way through. You know, it's making sense. It's not just two discs thrown on top of each other. You know, they're making sense. It's very dynamic, and, you know, people seem to love it. Even people that kind of, you know, lost interest after, let's say, Predator's Portrait or Natural Born Chaos. You know, they're kind of really liking this album as well, you know, as well as the fans that kind of discover us later down the road, you know, with Figure Number 5 and Stabbing and all that. So, yeah.
What was the writing process like now that Peter wasn't in the band, and was it any different to the last time he wasn't in a band when you were recording The Great Divide?
Well, I mean, not really. David has done a tremendous job, you know. He's such a, how can I say, he's not a very complex person at all. He's just came into the band and he's really kind of reuniting all the members, you know, and very socially skilled and such a great player, good at almost anything, everything. I was gonna say. So he's definitely a Superman in every possible way. So and yeah, I think he brought a lot of fresh blood into the music as well. I think he like kind of brought back a little bit of the melancholic melodies that we had in the past as well. And as far as the recording session, it was not that much different, maybe except like Peter always had really good sounding demos. The demos we had before entering the studio they were really shitty. So sometimes that's actually good if they don't sound too good before entering the studio. So I guess that's kind of the main difference.
You mentioned melody there. Now, a lot of the Gothenburg acts talk about the importance of melody, just like no matter what kind of metal they do, melody is very important. How important is it for your band personally and in general, do you think?
It is really important, it's sometimes, especially with vocals, since we added clean vocals in 2001, people were automatically shouting like sell out, but which wasn't the case at all. It was just a matter of me, trying to develop my vocals, just like everyone else in the band is trying, develop their skills on the guitars and drums or whatever. So it was a natural step for me, and I just enjoy the idea of being able to express yourself in many ways, And I still enjoy doing screaming vocals, for sure. And I love writing melodies, that create pictures in my head that I enjoy. That's always what I go for. It's like I guess it has some kind of a nostalgic, sentimental feel to it, I guess that's usually what I go for. I am pretty sentimental.
It's been called your strongest, most consistent album to date. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it kind of sums up the career pretty good. Everything is in there without sounding like, we've been trying to just throw everything in there, It makes sense with the dynamics, but it's interesting, and it needed to be really diverse because, I mean, there's no way we could have just recorded like 2 Stabbing the Dramas and put that as a double album. It needed to be diverse. It needed to be some nice links. It needs to be if you buy a double album, you expect to be taken on a journey, and that's what I wanted to be.
Now, I'm always curious when you do an album of that length, I mean, especially a double album, is there kind of a lull, like, immediately afterwards where just no new ideas for songs enter your brain, or is it already like, I've already got new ideas, like, I can't wait for the next double album, Well, we were kind of hooked recording the double album because it went way smoother than we expected. So, I mean, who knows? It's kind of hard for me to say, but it's like, it almost feels like, oh, it's kind of boring to just do like a normal album again with like 12 songs, But then again, you shouldn't force it. It should be something that you really feel, and we felt it at the time, and it worked out. But we shouldn't really push our luck. We should really feel it out, Is that a kind of progressive metal element as well, length?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is progressive. We've always been a little bit progressive, in a sense. Some albums are more like straightforward, but it's always been a pretty big element for us. But again, it needs to make sense because there's a lot of bands out there just throwing in weird patterns just because like, oh my god, this is so weird, that's not, I don't get that feeling at all with Soilwork. It always comes, we feel it out, if it makes sense, put it in there,
Alright, well, we'll have to wrap this up because as you see, your next interview is just over there. But do you have a message right into the camera for all our readers that Get Your Rock Out?
Well, it's good to be back. It's been a while, so nice sitting here outside in Manchester, and really sunny day. Beautiful. Can't wait for the show.
Cool, thank you very much, man. Have a good show tonight.
Thank you.